Hi guys. So before we really get to it, I just wanted to come in and a few notes before we get started. I filmed these things last year, literally a year ago tomorrow. I had just come in from the Grand Canyon, just threw together a turkey like I normally do whenever I do this. I had just gotten some new KitchenAid appliances, so this would be the first time I would use it for Thanksgiving after having some water damage, and I had to remodel my kitchen, which was nice, but also not something I expected to do. So I have a KitchenAid burner, microwave, double oven, and I don't think a lot of people think of KitchenAid like, oh yeah, let me get appliances, other than, you spent maybe a couple $100 on a mixer. But KitchenAid appliances, it was new to me. So we went from GE profile items, which were really great, to these guys, and they've been great. So after a year, they've been wonderful. I love them. I love my burners. Everything's great. So I guess so it started off as a review, but then kind of just started giving tips on the things I do for Thanksgiving. Super easy, low stress. That's what I prefer. I don't know what I say in the video really. I'm trying to edit it. These clips are all from a year ago, so I'm listening. I'm like, what am I even talking about? So hopefully it'll be fun information. If you're here to see a review about the actual KitchenAid, appliances, hopefully you'll get some glimpses of that, because that's really what it was based on. So I do a few different things to kind of give you some ideas. I know the turkey gave me a little trouble, but it wasn't because of the oven, in my opinion. It was more the timer popped on the turkey, and the turkey wasn't really ready. It was way too early when the timer popped. The little one that comes in the turkey, What else? Oh, at the very beginning, I mentioned that my brother's family was flying in from Hawaii, and that maybe they'd be tired. Maybe they should come eat dinner with us, then drive home, because they were too far when they flew in, and they normally live about 3 or 4 hours away. That was all pre-pandemic, right? So for this Thanksgiving, we are just here, our little core family, and we're not going anywhere. No one's coming here. We are not doing that. It's kind of jarring even to hear me say that. I'm like, what? So we were so young, weren't we? So a lot has changed in a year. All right, guys. So if you would like to just watch the video, my kids are kind of talking in the background. It was just something that I had thought, I'll just do this quick review, but it turned out to be a pretty long tips and tricks video along with the review of the items. I had just woken up. It's early in the morning, and maybe you'll see some glimpses of me with my hair isn't quite combed. It's just kind of pulled back, but oh well. That's just how it is. All right, guys, let's get to it.
Not that I want to add another level of pressure to my Thanksgiving dinner, which I just want to mention, I don't feel like Thanksgiving dinner is, I guess, because I don't have a huge party coming over, like it's usually just my little family or maybe a couple extra, or other people. I don't say extra, but I think it's pretty basic, but I don't do anything all out. I'm going to make my little stuffing. I bought a 22-pound turkey this year because I wasn't sure if my brother's family was coming or not, because they were flying in back from Hawaii yesterday, basically. So I thought, well, if you're tired at LAX, or the LA airport, just to come visit us out here, and I'll have dinner ready. So I bought a 22-pound turkey. I usually get like a 15, 16 pounds, so it's going to take a little longer to cook. But I still bought the same amount of stuffing, so hopefully that'll work out. We'll see, I guess. And then I figured while I'm here, maybe I'll go ahead and review my KitchenAid appliances, which I do have, when they did a kitchen remodel, I have the recirculating microwave, which is awesome. It's great. It has nice beep sounds. It comes on its own whenever it needs to recirculate, because my cooktop, the KitchenAid cooktop, is right here. I think there's a 3500 BTU gas burner. It's the heavier duty one. I think the other one might be 2500. I don't remember the model name, but if I find that out, I will put that in here. It's great. I love it. You have it. That's a little guy, and then that little guy can be high or low, and then if you kick it up to the big guy, it's both burners. And look how pretty. But that's the only thing, I can hear that sound. You hear hissing? I get used to it. So that's the high, and then it goes to low, and then it has a big boy in the middle. It is the exact same thing. It'll have the middle one high low, both high low. The back one is just one larger element, like a medium-sized element. This is a larger one. And then the back one, I've never really used the back ones, because that one's tiny. It's more like a simmer kind of thing. But they're so far back. That's the only complaint I would have about the way the builder or our remodeler worked this, because it just had to be this way. This kitchen is kind of like a galley kitchen, even though it's a big kitchen. But it does have a melt option, and there's another little plate you would put on top of that that's wider. So I guess it keeps the flame from coming around it. but it heats up, so it gets that melting function. So melt, and it comes, like I said, with another little plate you would put over that. So this is great. I love my burner. And it's so small that even small profile, I guess, that they're able to leave the drawer functioning underneath. And I had seen this on Pinterest, and I'm like, oh, cool. So I just put my spices here, because I used to have a spice rack where this cute little thing is in my old kitchen. And that's what the guy told me. He's like, I said, oh, I had the window ledges. I don't have window ledges anymore. He's like, that's old school. I'm like, I love window ledges. So even though there's a little bit of a ledge here, and mine came out, right? And he's like, okay, we're going to put you a shelf here. And that way you can put your little things there. I'm like, okay, fine. So that's what he did. So I have that, but I don't have my spice rack there anymore. But I just put everything in here. And now I put my cutting boards in there too, just because why not? Sorry about that piece of tin right there. I keep that there because if grease or something splashes, I just have that there. Obviously, when people come over, I take this away so it looks nice. But for now, it does a good job of catching little splatters and stuff, so I just leave that there. Now, my double oven that I hardly ever use, the bottom is actually just full of stuff, which I'm gonna have to take out today because I do need it, because I'm gonna make my own fresh rolls. With a recipe from Manchi. She has Korean bread. I love it. So I'm gonna make those today. Quick, easy recipe, even though you do have the rising and all that, because it's a yeasted bread. It's awesome. So I hold extra things in here that I don't even know. I just put them in there. Oh, this griddle also came with the cooktop. So you're supposed to be able to put that there, but I've never used that and probably never will, but it's there. You place it right in the middle. So it looks really nice. When you put that on the cooktop, it looks real heavy duty and awesome, but I don't use it at all. So you can see this still has cardboard I've never used, but I have used my top oven a couple times, but look how beautiful and clean it is. It's amazing. I love that blue. I think LG does that too, a couple other brands. But anyway, I'm curious to see about the convection, because I made something in here the other day. I baked and I had the convection on, I guess. And it cycles on and off like every few seconds. So it's really annoying. But I'm like, well, maybe the fan's always spinning, but something, and it's really quiet. The fan spins and you don't hear it, but something comes on, goes every literally 30 seconds. So I'm like, why doesn't it just stay on or cycle on and off less? So what I did was I kicked it onto convect broil or whatever, basically just to hear it, and that one did stay on the whole time. It just kind of blows the air. So I'm like, okay, so it might just be with the baking that it needs to regulate, so it sounds funny, or I don't know. But you have all your upper oven, easing convect, cook time, stop time if you need that. I feel like you're gonna be stepping away. Lower oven, again, all the convect and cook time, stop time. All your little settings if you want to change, obviously, the temperature and stuff like that. Change the clock, timer, self-clean. I haven't used either of that. Upper and lower, the oven light. One thing that is weird, though, to me is that when you open this, the oven light comes on, obviously, but it comes on in both sections. So, yeah, they're my slippers. So I think it's kind of odd. It's like I'm working with one. Why would it come on for both? The other thing I love, and this lady had mentioned it, I'm like, oh, yeah. This pull-out, I guess on each one it probably has one, because I can see this one's basic, right? This rack is basic. It has a cool handle though, which is kind of nice, right? Instead of having to kind of just pull it, you can actually grab it. This one does too, but hope you can see this big mechanism here. As you pull it, you can pull it out easily. So I'm gonna use this for my turkey today. Ooh, because I'm gonna put this on the bottom level, and then when I go to check it or even baste it, or I don't really baste it, but I can pull it out without bringing the whole thing, and it just makes it an easy slide. Kind of interesting, right? Because, I mean, this slide's okay too, but obviously it's going to do its own thing. So this is nice. And they both have one of those. I guess if I really wanted to, since I don't use the bottom rack that much, is bring that guy up here. But I don't know if it has to stay in this area. I didn't think about that. We will see. I should be able to put it in a different rack position. Okay. All right, well, I'm gonna get my turkey going, and if there's something I can say while I'm baking it, I will do that, or when I get it in here. But let's see how it does for Thanksgiving dinner. The KitchenAid double oven, beautiful, love it. If you can't really see it with all the stuff in front of it, but there it is. What I like about these burners is, they're really strong and they put out a lot of fire. They're kind of gentle. Like it would be very difficult for me to burn this butter. Like I have it on the highest setting with both things going, and look how nice it's cooking. It's not browned right away or starting to brown because most of it's cooked. Nope, it just does a really great job. Especially eggs. I love cooking eggs on this thing. I don't know why. It's just very gentle with them and they cook up really nice. But that power's there because this has only been like 30. Maybe a minute. I heated it up and I put the butter in. Oh, and let's talk about recirculating hoods. Basically, the steam, obviously, whatever, is going up this way. If it gets hot enough, it'll just kick on itself. It usually does it mostly when I use this middle burner. But otherwise, I just press fan and turn it on. And I'll put it on low just so that it's not too loud. But the air comes up here. Hopefully it's not too dirty. I try to clean there every once in a while. And right now it's cold because really this isn't super hot. But it blows out the top. The reason I couldn't get just like one of those cool fans put in here is because the clearance between this floor and my next floor is like 12 inches, and he was saying you need to have at least however much to do that, and he wouldn't do it, the builder, the remodeler, because they have obviously the little rules, so which is fine. I guess previously this kitchen was kind of weird. See what you see? So I have a pantry, and then we have this here, fridge, and then I guess it used to be an oven right here, like a stovetop, right? Is your stove. And then it had a little more piece of like, because I thought that's kind of weird. There's a big old wall. Why would you want your oven? You're just looking at the wall, kind of like here, right? This other one. But it used to be there, and then there was another little piece of counter, I guess, in the end. So the vent was going up here through the ceiling, and it comes out over there. So there's a vent at the outside of the house. I could see the little hole for it. But that was a long time ago, right? 30 years ago, basically. So the guy's like, no, we can't do it. And especially, because my son's room is right above there. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They couldn't do it. So I had to go with a recirculating hood. But it works really well. So I can't complain. The only thing is, it does blow out. Sometimes a little grease here. So I don't know if you can see that there's like a little shininess here. So I just come with a rag basically every other day and just clean that off just in case it starts building up or something. I don't know. But that's just what it is. Alright, I'll keep cooking. Okay guys, I went ahead and took out the other two racks, and yeah, it just moves just like the other racks. You just pop it up through and then push it back in where you need it. Make sure it locks in, right? At the very back. Ready to go, so I don't know, I guess I'll do convect bake, even though convection's not my favorite. So it needs to be at 325, it's already set at 325. If it wasn't, oh, it says convert recipe. That always scares me because I don't know what that means. You know what I'm saying? I hate to mess with this. Convert recipe. That might lower the heat, huh? I'm just gonna put, yeah, 1, yes. Oh, you know what? Okay, I thought it was gonna mess with it. Well, the standard temp is 325. And I don't care about the standard time, so let's just say start. Hopefully that works. Nope. Standard time. I don't know. 6 hours, I guess? Is that what it's asking me? I think that's what it's asking. And then start. Yep. So it's starting up. And we'll see what happens. I'll let it warm up and we'll get the turkey in. So what I normally do, look, I just washed it out. You always want to take out whatever's in either cavity. Under this skin flap, there's always another cavity with more stuff if you are new at making turkeys. But this will probably help you for Christmas because it's already going to be past Thanksgiving. But I'm going to take this stuffing, just put it into this hole. Usually use the spoon as much as I can because it's hot, and then maybe if I need to put a glove on, I'll put the rest of it in there. You don't want to pack it in too tight because that's not good. You want a nice cooked turkey. And then I stick the rest of it under this flap. I'll lift it up and I'll stick more in and then put the flap down. Just because I like the stuffing or dressing that comes out of the turkey better than just like in a pan. These wings, I don't really want to touch it right now, but after I'm done, I'll stick the wings under its back. All you have to do is just like flip them underneath. See how it's sticking out? Just flip it underneath its body and backwards so that they don't get all burned and nasty. I'll show you what that looks like later. I just have a stick of melted butter. This is unsalted butter. I wish it was salted, so I'm going to add a little more salt to the turkey. But I just pour it all over. Literally is what I do. And then I get salt and pepper and sprinkle salt and pepper all over it. And that's all I do to prepare it, and it's awesome. So, I don't know. I think it's pretty easy to make a turkey, but like I said, some people brine it, do all these other things. Whatever this piece of meat is, I might take that off the skin. It looks gross. But anyway, and after I stuff it, I'll just put this little thing back on its leg the way it was. And I'll be right back. I wanted to show you that. So basically, I pull the wings, and I stick the little pointy part of the wing behind him. So it's like he's chilling, like laying on the beach, you know what I'm saying, with your arms behind you like this, behind your head. So, I don't know if you can see there's one back here and then the other one tucked in a lot better, so it's really nice and tucked in there. And that way that doesn't burn. Oh, my temperature is ready. So, I am going to finish browning this and finish putting the rest of that on this side, I just want to show you it does say easy convect bake, and it says ready to insert food, and check it at 143 because basically 6 hours from right now, but I'm not quite ready to pop it in, but it doesn't matter. It's not going to turn off on its own. Now you hear the convection coming on. It's very quiet. All right, let's get it started. This is what bothers me. It says 300 degrees because they converted for the convection, and I'm always afraid of convection that way. I always just use the same temperature, but we'll see. If after a couple hours it doesn't look like it's getting too cooked looking, I will kick it up. Sorry I couldn't really show you transferring in here, but my husband's still asleep, so I brought this rack out and just put the turkey on there, push it in, and leave it alone. So right now we're at 555 hours of cooking. It doesn't feel that hot in there though. I want to kick it up, but I will give it a chance because supposedly convection is quicker and lower, right? But I've never done that. Like I said, I always just leave it at the high temperature, or the temperature supposed to be at. Sorry, there was all kinds of pepper, like I said. So I just had butter, a lot of salt, a lot of pepper, and got it in there. All right, well, we'll check with a couple hours. Okay, next up is actually some cranberry sauce, which all is a smaller bag of cranberries, like not the big 32-ounce bag. I think it's 16 ounces. Fresh ones, you just boil a cup of water with a cup of sugar. When it's all dissolved, add in your cranberries. You get it to a boil, and then simmer it for 10 minutes. They start popping, you can hear them. Sending sugar flying everywhere, but that's okay. Yeah, so we're getting right along, but again, great cooking. Oh, I meant to mention, after it starts kind of cooking down, I'll do a little lemon zest just to brighten it up. You can do orange. You can do orange juice to begin with, not water. However you like, but I'm just going to do a little lemon zest to give a little brighter notes. Okay, it's all done. I'm just going to, the kids and husband are over there enjoying some deluxe mixed nuts that they're cracking on their own, so you might hear that in the background. But that's it, and I'll just let that cool. So this one has nothing to do with my cooking implements, but it's just a little ambrosia salad my son has been asking for. So it's basically half a bag, like a small bag of the fruit kind of marshmallows, like those colored marshmallows. A can drained of fruit cocktail. I like to get the one that has more cherries. This was not that one, unfortunately. Like a good handful of coconut, shredded coconut, a good handful of chopped up walnuts, and is that it? Yes, and then just a little tub of whipped cream, a full tub, the smaller guy. If you're making, obviously, a serving. I mean, this stuff lasts us for days, but that's it. And then we just mix it around, and it's delicious. Let's do a little update on the turkey. I do have 3.5 hours left. Basically, with a stuffed turkey, you want 15 minutes per pound, and it's about 22 pounds. And I just said 6 hours because I just threw it on there 6 hours, you know, because I wasn't thinking about it. And that's basically 5.5 hours, so that's close enough. Let me do oven light. As you can see, it looks pretty good. It's nice and brown, and it's almost halfway through cooking, so that's actually a nice browning, so you don't want it to burn either. Maybe I should open it so you can see a little closer. If I open it, what I'm going to do is kind of turn it so I just rotate it a little bit. That'll be worth having opened it. But look at that. Ooh, look at the steam coming. That is really, really great. I think the only other place I ever did a turkey that the convection was not something you can turn off, it was just a convection oven always, was in Georgia, the house we had there. And I just went with the regular 325, but this thing did its calculation. It's pretty good. Look how nice that looks. And I do want to mention, the fan's going. It is kicking on and off that sound that I was telling you guys about, but not too much. The other thing is, I didn't point out, you see here on the side, there's like a little, that little silver, let me see if I can put my finger. Oh goodness, that little thing right there. It came with a thermometer, so you can put it in there. You can put it in the meat and just leave it there, I guess, to leave it baking, and then this thing will tell you the temperature of the meat, which is great. So I was just checking this, and it still needs about 2.5 hours, and the timer, or I guess the timer popped up right in the turkey, and there goes. Oh, that's the sound of the. Don't get me in here. I'm not dressed to be shown on camera right now. That was the timer on the microwave. That's what it sounds like. But anyway. So I guess we'll test this. There's no way this thing can be ready. I mean, it's still called juicy and everything. Okay, so I found the book about this. I was supposed to put this in the meat when it was cold and plugged it in. Put the meat first, plug it into your wall, and then select your baking mode. So this should have already been there, just been there cooking away the whole time. So that's why it doesn't want to register now, which is weird, but it's what it is. So I'm just going to use a regular thermometer and see if we're ready. If we're ready, this thing cooked in 3.5 hours, a 22-pound turkey, but we'll see. Okay. We will see. And I think it's pretty good because every time I tried to probe it, the juice wasn't just coming out of it. So let's see. Okay, so the breast is almost ready. It should be 165, right? And we're at 162. Okay. This thing turned off on me. The other day it was doing the same thing. Oh, I don't run out of battery now. Let's see. Okay, the breast is 162, but really you want the stuffing to be cooked, and then of course the leg, and try not to touch the bone. The legs are already at 180, which is pretty much done. This is crazy. Why this is kind of a bummer is because I haven't made the rolls yet, because that was going to take 2.5 hours to make them from scratch. And let me see what this is. Okay, see, the stuffing is still a little bit too cold, I think. I'm going to give it another half hour. I need to go look up as far as stuffing. It's at 140, and I don't really know exactly what temperature stuffing needs to be at. I know it needs to be cooked. So, yeah, the breast is there. Dude, you guys, this thing cooked way too fast. Okay, well, there it is. It's beautiful. It's been about half an hour more. It should still have an hour and 50 minutes to cook. Actually, an hour and 30, really, right? Because I kind of went overboard on the 6 hours, even though it's a 22-pound turkey. It should be 5.5 hours. So an hour and 20-ish left. I do not want to keep baking this and drying out my turkey. So I put the little lid on it just like 10 minutes ago just to see if maybe that lid will help push heat into the stuffing. It's at about 150 right now. The turkey's getting hotter and hotter, so I'm gonna go ahead and take it out. What I'm gonna do, the stuffing that's stuffed in the front part, like in the neck area, is cooked all the way through. It's like at 180, so it's pretty hot. It should be 165, the internal temperature with the stuffing. This other one's like 150, so I'm gonna do is scoop that out, and I'm gonna put it back in the oven and let it cook on its own, like in a little gratin plate or something, or you know, dish, and just let that cook. For right now, we'll eat the other because it's basically noon, so I guess we're having turkey for noon, which is great because to be honest, it was gonna be ready around 1:30, 1:45 basically, and I was like, that's kind of weird for lunch, but too early for dinner. So for right now, I'm gonna let it keep cooking. Not cooking. I'm gonna bring this guy out. I'm gonna leave the oven on, and then I'm gonna put in the, like I said, the stuffing by itself and let that cook through, and we'll eat the other stuffing that's ready. I'm gonna let my husband do this part.
Take the lid off?
Yeah. And just put it in the sink. We didn't really need that. I just wanted to see if it would help, like, trap the heat. And then just pull it out. See that? Pull that towards you, and not. Well, I don't know how much it can hold, but that's like 25 pounds, right? And he's just gonna put it on the cooling rack. She's beautiful. The temperatures were great everywhere. You know, I don't know. We're gonna have to open it up, obviously. But this, like I said, was all cooked through. We already took all the temperatures of everything else. It's way over 165, 180 here in the leg or more. Just the temperature there was not quite where I want it. So like I said, I'm just gonna scoop all that out. We just take this off. Scoop that out. I'm gonna put it in this little gratin dish, cover it with some foil, and let it continue cooking, baking, should I say. And we're good to go.